One of my favorite things about transportation is the differences seen in state highways. In one case, C-470 in Denver is a state highway, despite working pretty much exactly like an interstate. Then, South Dakota Highway 253 can be considered the exact same way. This is because it's fully decided by the state governments, meaning there's a vast diversity in what these highways are and where they run. This brings an interesting concept though, because if you look at the longest state highway in each state, it can tell you so much about the differences we see. So that's what we'll do today. So almost every longest state highway is longer than the longest interstate. We can use 50th place Rhode Island as an example. I-95 runs in the state for 42 miles, but State Route 138 runs for 48 miles across the state. Each state has a ton of long, winding roads, and oftentimes there's just one that takes the perfect route right across the state. So let's continue on our list. In 49th is New Jersey's Route 47, which runs from Camden down to Wildwood and Cape May. I personally find it absolutely wild there's not a single state highway that runs through North and South Jersey. It could be from Cape May up to Port Jervis, and that would be upwards of 163 miles. But no, this is the best they could do, being an immediate case for where the longest interstate, I-95, is actually longer. Next up is Maryland's Route 2, a 79-mile route down the Chesapeake Bay coast from downtown Baltimore. This seems like an unironically very pretty drive if anyone from that state wants a day trip. Moving on, obviously we stay in these tiny, puny little northeastern states with Connecticut's Route 15 at 83 miles. This is a fun one, as it's the Merritt Parkway for a portion, the Wilbur Cross Parkway, and the Berlin Turnpike. It's mostly limited access, being our first of this nature. We then have Delaware's Route 1, marking the first Highway 1 on this list. That's by far the most common number, likely because states historically labeled their highways off of importance, or it just went up the coast or something like that. Speeding up, Nevada is disappointingly low with State Route 318 at 110 miles. Then New Mexico has State Route 120 at 119 miles. Hawaii's 122-mile Route 11 is the circular highway around the Big Island, being the only circular one on this list. New Hampshire's Route 16 runs 149 miles, Massachusetts' Route 28 runs 151 miles, and then into 40th place, Utah also places low with State Route 24 at 160 miles. Let's keep moving. In 39th is Idaho's State Highway 71 at 170 miles. You'd think a state highway would go north to south, top to bottom, but the only highway that actually does this in the state is US 95. Pennsylvania's Route 18 is 205 miles, and these continue to not make sense, because the state is 280 miles long, so a highway couldn't just go that way. This is a great illustration of state highway systems being totally different state to state. Pennsylvania's was shorter than Vermont's. That's embarrassing. Vermont has Route 100 at 216 miles. Virginia has State Route 40 at 227 miles. Then Indiana is in 35th place with State Road 37 at 229 miles. Colorado has State Highway 14 at 236 miles long, and I've actually been on this one. I went to Poudre Canyon in 2020, and I fished in this river right here. I caught nothing, so don't try it. It's a total waste. Oregon has Route 140, a 227-mile route in south central region of the state. Speeding up, South Carolina has Highway 9, which is 257 miles. West Virginia has Route 20, which is 262 miles. Arizona has State Route 87 at 272 miles. And North Carolina's Highway 24 is 284 miles long. In 28th, Michigan has Highway 28, also known as the Michigan Highway. This one goes right down the UP, being a very important route for those that live up there. Ending our bottom 25, we have a couple. Arkansas has Highway 7, which is 297 miles and really does maximize its length in the state. Then Iowa Highway 3, which looks like maybe the most boring road in America.
Now that you made it to the halfway point, you get to watch me box jump onto my new FlexiSpot E7 standing desk as it gets progressively higher. You won't want to miss this. Obviously, this video is sponsored by FlexiSpot, and everything I'm about to say is true. I'm so happy about this. I've always wanted a standing desk to help me with my back while making videos and make me feel a little less cooped up in my room.
Alright guys, we're at a questionable height now. I don't know how many more of these I can do. I'll try to get to 40, we'll see.
But I'm saving money and couldn't afford one, so my E7 desk has been exactly what I wanted.
Okay, I got to 40, so now I'm just going to go until I fail.
Seriously, I'm going to use this every single day while making content, and it's really good for keeping you healthy. It goes up and down really far, and it's super stable too. Say, look, I built a tower here, and of course it doesn't fall down when it's moving. And it can hold 355 pounds, so your mom can even sit on it if she wants. Actually though, FlexiSpot is awesome. They gave me this treadmill too, which adds to my mission of not getting seasonal depression from making videos. It's got a 9-level automatic incline adjustment, Bluetooth so we can listen to beaver geography videos, and a 275-pound capacity, all at a reasonable price. This is by far my favorite sponsorship I've ever done, so head over to their website in the description and check out their diverse selection of standing desks. Leave a note mentioning my channel name at the checkout and use my code YTE730 for $30 off on your own E7 standing desk. Actually though, please, at least a few of you go buy a desk. They're really high quality and they deserve it for being so nice to me.
So now getting into our top 25, we have Ohio's State Route 7, which interestingly falls right up the state border for 335 miles. Illinois is a fun one because it's listed as Illinois 1, but this is disputed, and the real answer is Illinois 110. So I don't get to talk about how there's so many Highway 1s in this instance. Instead, it's just states part of the Chicago-Kansas City Expressway at 328 miles. Next is Florida's State Route A1A, which I count as Highway 1. It's iconic going up the Atlantic coast. Next is Mississippi's Highway 15, which I wish I cared a little more about, at 344 miles. Minnesota is another State Highway 1, traveling through the North Woods and showing just how large this part of Minnesota actually is, at 345 miles. Let's just keep counting up because State Route 17 in Alabama is 346 miles, going right up the state's western border and coming in at 20th place. With more of these roads that just go in a straight line, beautiful Missouri Route 5 is 352 miles, then Kansas State Highway 4 is 369 miles. Kansas has a really nice clean state highway sign though, so I'll give them a pass here. Georgia State Route 11 is in 17th place with 376 miles. Then State Route 17 in New York is next, a partial freeway which is called the Quickway between Binghamton and Woodbury, which might be the coolest freeway name in the country. Comment down below if you have a better one. State Route 11 in Maine is a fun one at 15th place, being 401 miles long, traveling through much of the most rural portions of the state. Wyoming has Highway 789, which zigzags through the center of the state, being mostly concurrent with U.S. highways at 407 miles long. Wisconsin has State Highway 35, which is a really fun one, being mostly the Great River Road, one of the most iconic drives in this region of the country. It goes all the way up the western border, going 412 miles. North Dakota and South Dakota are back to back. South is first with Highway 34, which is 412 miles, and then North is next with Highway 200 at the big 420. It's funny how much sense that makes since both states are indeed the same length. Alright, top 10, we got Louisiana Highway 1, which is another Highway 1, and the first one that I've seen extremely successfully go from one corner to another, following the Red River and traveling 431 miles. Washington is next in 9th with State Route 20, which is 436 miles. It's also known as the North Cascades Highway, traveling from the Idaho border through the mountains and onto the islands in Puget Sound, with the ferry ride not included in the mile length. Kentucky usually finds a way to place low on these lists, but Route 80 is in our 8th place at 483 miles, going down the very long state. This part of the video is where long, empty states excel, as Nebraska comes in 9th with Highway 92, which follows the long way through the state, helping connect that route to Scottsbluff at 489 miles. Continuing, we have another State Route 1, this time in another long state, Tennessee. We push our way right past 500 miles, up at 538 miles. It takes a zigzag route through an already long state, putting it up at 6th. Into our top 5 we have now mostly just large states, starting with Texas's State Highway 16. It starts at the Mexico border, goes up to San Antonio, being part of the Beltway for a bit, and then it goes nearly to the Oklahoma border. This is a case of Texas just being absolutely massive, with it being 541 miles long. 4th place is Alaska's Route 1. The state only has a few state highways, but since it's the biggest in the country, AK1 travels a very long way at 545 miles. Into our top 3, Oklahoma sneaks in even past Texas or Alaska with State Highway 3. This is my favorite instance of maximizing the route, going from the southeast corner through the Panhandle up at 615 miles long. Then the final boss of Route 1s is California's, which goes right up the Pacific coastline, being mostly concurrent with the US 101, which you might know better as a PCH. It's really pretty, it's really long, and it could be even longer if it went up the entire coast, instead ending north of Fort Bragg. It's still 655 miles long though. Finally, in first place we have an absolutely iconic Highway 200 in Montana. An extremely rural, mostly empty, but super cool state highway that runs through cities like Circle, Van Norman, Mosby, and Armington Junction. We love Montana here on this channel, so it's super cool that it runs 700 miles. I hope this video showed you the strange diversities found in these highways and confuses you on how Montana got 700 miles and Nevada only got 110. Thanks for watching.
And once again, please check out our sponsor FlexiSpot.com and go get an E7 standing desk and check out the Black Friday deals with up to 80% off on items. Mention my channel name at the checkout and use code YTE730 to save an extra $30 off and get your own E7 standing desk. I love the brand and I really appreciate them sponsoring us, so it would mean a lot to me. Thank you.